Hi, welcome to a bonus video entitled, Hey, go read this article by Don Lincoln on CNN.com. So, one point that this channel would like to emphasize is that science isn't static. We don't reach a set of conclusions about some phenomenon and declare the issue closed. Instead, we come up with hypotheses to explain phenomena and use experiments to test those hypotheses. We perform increasingly stringent tests, and we keep a hypothesis around as long as it passes all of the tests. When a hypothesis eventually fails an experimental test, we have to come up with a new hypothesis. That new hypothesis has to pass all of the experimental tests that the previous hypothesis did, plus the one it failed. Then we start coming up with new tests for our new hypothesis, and the cycle repeats. So we don't see science being finished anytime in the foreseeable future. Science is a practice of coming up with ever-improving models of how nature works. We go into this in more detail in the video Science as an Iterative Approximation to Nature, available on this channel. Now, while this is a basic feature of how science works, it is one that is rarely mentioned. So when we here at Think Like a Physicist see it mentioned, we like to point it out. So we'd like to point you to a recent column on CNN.com by Don Lincoln of Fermilab. The column briefly describes a recent experimental test of general relativity. The test involved looking at the gravitational redshift of the spectra of hydrogen and helium from a star in the neighborhood of the black hole in Sagittarius A star. And, well, general relativity came through the test unscathed. Now, Einstein's theory of general relativity has been around for a century and has passed all experimental tests so far. Yet, as the column points out, we're still testing it, and furthermore, we expect that someday it will fail. When it fails, we'll have to come up with the next, even better description of gravity, and that's how science progresses. So, we'd encourage you to take a look at the video, Science as an Iterative Approximation to Nature, and then head over and read Don Lincoln's column. The links for both can be found in the description below. Thanks, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.